If you have not paid attention to the world of sports today, you just jumped in your car. Was the case with someone I just went to lunch with who hadn't been paying attention this morning. The Citrus Bowl is thrown off the axis. It is absolutely up for grabs at this point from the Purdue side of things. What do I mean? Well, since this morning when I woke up, Purdue's starting quarterback, Aiden O'Connell, has decided he's not playing in the game. Their number one wide receiver, Charlie Jones, has decided, I'm not playing in the game either. Their tight end, who's second on the team in receptions, Payne Durham, said, I'm out. And they got a new coach. Not a new head coach, but a coach nonetheless. Drew Brees is going to jump in and help them right the ship and get ready for this bowl game over the next couple of weeks. Let's start with why this is all happening before we get to the impact on the field against LSU. There are some rumblings, and this is going to happen multiple times every single year while we have the system in place that we do, with the transfer portal open when it is, with the early signing period when it is, with the bowl games where they are, and the playoff where it is. This is going to happen a lot of places. This is far from an indictment on Purdue. It's just they're caught up in the calendar that is college football. But their head coach, Jeff Brom, decided right after the regular season he was leaving. He's gone. He is no longer in West Lafayette. He's recruiting for Louisville. Some of his staff is going to join him in Louisville. The question is, if you're the Purdue administration, what do I have here for this staff for the next month? The question from the Purdue players is, how much do these guys care, and how much are they house shopping in Louisville and looking around for other places, other players to come play for them at Louisville? Who cares about this game? There's a lot of smoke around that in West Lafayette. There's just not a ton of investment in this bowl game from anyone. Players transferring out, coaches looking for other ways. Even if they're not going to Louisville, are they staying at Purdue, or do they need to be interviewing for jobs? Talking to coaches that have taken jobs, talking to places they've been, using their connections in the industry to find a new gig for next year. There's just very little buy-in in West Lafayette right now is the word. So this is not totally unexpected. But it's a big deal for this 3-hour football game on the 2nd of January. How big? Aiden McConnell, senior quarterback at Purdue, 320 of 499. He's completing 64% of his throws for 3,490 yards and 22 touchdowns this year. He's throwing for 290 a game, 22 touchdowns. Has thrown 13 picks, but he is what makes this offense go. The Purdue identity under Jeff Brom has been spread the field, get in the gun, throw it around. It's the Petrino system from Louisville. It's a fun and gun type deal. And Aiden McConnell has been their guy under center, or behind center as it were. And he's gone. Charlie Jones is their number one wide receiver. If you're just a Joe LSU fan who watches the Tigers and going to turn on Ole Miss, Mississippi State on Thanksgiving and look, there's the Florida Ole Miss game I'll turn that on too in September, and you don't pay attention to the Big Ten, kind of like me. I don't know who Charlie Jones is. Who's Charlie Jones? Charlie Jones leads the nation in yards receiving this year. Leads the nation. 1,361 yards for Charlie Jones. He's got 12 touchdowns. That's tied for 4th in the country. He's been about as productive as a receiver as there is in college football. He's not playing in this game. So what do they have after Charlie Jones? Well, their next leading receiver is their tight end, Payne Durham. He's out. See ya. 56 catches, 560 yards, and 8 touchdowns. He's gone. Durham and Jones accounted for 51% of their receiving yards this year. Their second leading wide receiver, who will now become their number one, had 39 catches and 3 touchdowns this year. Their starting quarterback and their top 2 pass catchers are gone. Now, I looked at, okay, well, who's their quarterback going to be then? Might as well give a look at it. Best I can tell, it's going to be Austin Burton. Austin Burton's a 6th-year senior. He was in the recruiting class of 2017 at UCLA. Now, for some perspective on the class of 2017, Justin Jefferson was in LSU's class of 2017. Austin Deculus was in LSU's class of 2017. Miles Brennan was in LSU's class of 2017. That's the year Austin Burton entered college football. So he's a 3-star recruit, went to UCLA, did not take a snap or get on the field at all in 2017 or 2018. In 2019, he got 1 start for UCLA. They played Oregon State. He was 27 of 41 for 236 yards. He ran it 15 times for 64. Who cares? He started 1 game in 19. Did not play in the COVID year of 20. Everything was crunched down in the Pac-12. They didn't play many games. He didn't play at all. So he transferred to Purdue. Last year, he played in 3 games. He threw 7 passes. And this year, O'Connell was unavailable in the Florida Atlantic game, so he did start the game. He started 1 game in 6 years. It was Florida Atlantic this year. Florida Atlantic, by the way, 107th in the nation in total defense. Not exactly the Steel Curtain. Not exactly the 85 Bears. Wasn't really Ray Lewis and the Baltimore Ravens. I watched the tape of the game. He was 24 of 32, 3 touchdowns and a pick. He actually carried the ball a bunch in that game. In the year, he's carried it 26 times for 80 yards. But it was a really safe game plan. He threw a bunch of swing passes. He's fine. He's 6'3", 215 pounds. He can run a little bit. He's not shifty. He doesn't have a great arm. He's fine. But more so than O'Connell being out and Jones being out and Durham being out and the coaching staff being, the program is checked out. I'm not suggesting that Purdue has no chance to go to the Citrus Bowl and beat LSU. They're going to suit some guys up. They're probably going to play pretty hard while they're out there. But the fact of the matter is that program is not committed to this game on any level. The line moved 4 points. It was a 10-point line. Now it's 14. So LSU becomes a massive favorite in this game. And again, it's really not an indictment on Purdue. They're caught up in today's world of college football where we've put these bowl games at the end of December and the beginning of January, and everybody makes their next move the first week of December, and then you just got to play it out for a month, and half the teams are faking it. Purdue's going to be faking it. Now, they brought in Drew Brees, and my petition for this game, quite frankly, let Brees play quarterback. You want to make this an interesting game? I'd rather see Brees play than freaking Austin Burton. I don't care about that. Can we do that? Let's bring some excitement back to these games. I'd rather see Brees taking snaps. But he's not. He's just going to go in there and watch some tape and help the 6th-year senior quarterback play. You know, I was way older than everybody at one point playing quarterback. Here's what you do. But I think it's cool for the Purdue program to have him back there. I think it's likely that Brees is going to take a little money for this, considering he wanted money from LSU to read a hype video in 2019. But good on Purdue for making that happen. I think the reason it's happening is because they're light on coaches. A lot of folks looking other places, a lot of folks looking at Louisville. They need some help, and they're going to get it. But Purdue's going to play this game without its engine on offense, to be quite frank. And LSU's a massive favorite in the game, and should be. When LSU comes out of the tunnel on the 2nd of January, I'll be excited and ready to roll. It'll be on TV. I'll have done the pregame show. Tigers coming out in the gold helmets, white jerseys. I'll be excited because they're playing football. The reality is that this game is a charade. Last year's Texas Bowl was a charade. This game's a charade. Purdue's going to be playing it very shorthanded. And to this point, we think LSU is going to be fairly well-equipped to play in the game, from best we can tell. But again, this day and age, you never really know.